What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Passable Ball Knowledge Podcast. My name is Sam. That's Aaron. It's been a wild couple days as far as coaching news goes, as far as now getting ready to see who will play in the Super Bowl. It's been a fun couple days for NFL fans. We're going to break it all down. My name is Sam. That's Aaron. We're a little bit wonky today. We each just had different versions of school, and it's in the early afternoon, and this is the only time we could record anything. So we're a little fatigued seeming. I just dropped a pen. There's a reason for that. So before we get in there, and how you doing?
I'm doing pretty solid. Not much has happened with the Falcons, but just kind of waiting for a game. I heard no C.
It's the same. But okay. Whatever. We're just going to jump right in. A lot of coaching news to talk about, a lot of stuff to get into before the games. 2 head coaches have been hired since our last podcast. The first one, Robert Saleh, is the new coach of the Tennessee Titans. This is an interesting hire for me because it constantly felt like the Titans, it feels disingenuous to Saleh to say this, but this realistically feels like it's like their 4th candidate on their list. Like, they wanted to hire Harbaugh, he got taken. They wanted to hire Stefanski, he got taken. They wanted to hire Halfley, he got taken. And then they finally got the interview with Saleh. Saleh turned out to be the guy. Obviously this is a guy who, as far as like defensive coordinators go, I think he's one of the highly rated, regarded defensive coordinators in the game, especially like defensive play callers with what he did with that 49ers defense this year. I think a lot of people know him as a really good personality, kind of a, hey, listen, I'm going to be a fun, just electric coach that you can have. But I think there's been some skepticism about him being a head coach after his Jets stint, and that's, justified. Because the Jets were bad when he was there, and he didn't really have a lot of great moments. But personally, I am fairly high on this hire. I'm fairly positive on it. Aaron, what is your outlook on this hire for the Titans and what Robert Saleh is going to bring?
I mean, I'm sorry to say it's kind of boring in a way. I mean, like, I know they weren't going to make a huge splash, but I just think that, like, I just don't know if he's been far enough removed from his last, like, really bad coaching tenure to, just get another job, like, a year or 2 after he got fired. I know you could say the same thing about, like, Stefanski, who just got hired after going, like, 3 and, like, 8-26 after 2 years, but, he's a coach of the year.
As the Shadur files taught us.
Yeah. So I think it's a fine hire. I'm a little bit, I'm not concerned, but I'm kind of wondering why they went with a defensive coach over offensive to maybe help with the development of Cam Ward a little bit. But I mean, it's not that defense was good either. But I think that sorry,
bless you, my God.
I think it's an overall fine hire for the Titans, and that's really all I have to say about it.
I think we're on different places here. I really like this hire for Tennessee. I think Robert Saleh just checks too many boxes to eventually not be a good head coach. And I don't really fault him too much for what happened in New York because, I mean, nobody can win with the Jets. Nobody can win with the Jets. The last time there was a winning coach for the Jets, it was Todd Bowles in 2015. Like, it's been a long time since the Jets have had a winning season. It's been a long time since the Jets have been a functional organization. And, I really don't discredit Saleh for not doing well there. I just think he checks too many boxes. Like, he has the right energy. He's a good play caller. He has said that he will call plays in Tennessee, which is actually big because he did not call plays in his first head coaching stint. I think he said like that was a lesson he learned. He wished that he had control of the defensive play calling. So Saleh will be doing that, which I think is great because I think he's a pretty great DC. We've seen that what he can do with San Francisco. And, I think Saleh is just like, I mean, to me, he feels like Mike Vrabel Like, I think they realized that they fucked up. They did not retain Mike Vrabel. And this is a guy who is a, you know, high energy, just kind of like, hey, we're just going to be tougher than any team. We're going to work harder than any team. And I think this is a guy who, like, once he gets on the sideline, I think this is a guy that will excite a lot of fans um, in Tennessee. And I think that this is a guy who will revive the culture in Tennessee that was clearly gone after the last couple of years. Like, you had Cam Ward in a press conference saying, hey, man, we're ass. Like, after a game last year, like, he's like, hey, we're ass. That's what he said. Like, that, like, you don't want that type of culture. You don't want that negativity feeding in. At the end of the day, I think what Saleh is going to bring is he's going to bring in a tough, hardworking culture, and he's going to be the right guy. Saleh is still very young; like, he is still a good guy to kind of restart with. And I have been very positive on Saleh as a head coaching candidate after his last stint, and I think guys will grow, and I like him to be a guy who can grow. Also, I think it's worth noting, I trust Saleh to make a good OC hire here. It seems like from what I've seen, I believe that, I'm not sure if this is a report or if it's just an assumption, but but someone said that it feels like if Brian Dable does not get the Bills head coaching job, that he will likely pivot to be the Tennessee OC, which in that scenario, I like that hire a lot for Tennessee. They're also inquiring about Arthur Smith, who I think also makes sense. Because, I mean, I think Arthur Smith is a good play caller. I don't think he's some schematic genius, but I think to call Arthur Smith a bad OC would be disingenuous because we've seen him be good. Yeah, I just trust Saleh to make a good OC hire. I really like this hire for Tennessee. I think it's a Mike Vrabel-esque guy who could get the fans back involved, and I think that he'll make the right OC hire for Cam Ward. I think this is the one that everybody's talking about, though. This next one, the Ravens, after having John Harbaugh for 20 years, they are one of the most stable organizations in football. I think pretty much everyone can agree on that. You start off like they had one coach, didn't work out. Then they hire Brian Billick. He's the coach there for 10 years. They win a Super Bowl. They hire John Harbaugh. He's the coach there for 20 years. They've win a Super Bowl in his tenure. They go out and they make the hire that I think we both expected. I think a lot of people expected, but became official yesterday. Jesse Minter, the Chargers DC, has been hired to be the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. This is a guy who was in that Ravens building before and is kind of very similar to Mike McDonald and kind of off that same cloth there. I mean, I know a lot of Ravens fans are negative about not hiring an offensive guy, but I mean, Aaron, I'll let you give your thoughts first, but I have a thought on this hire that I'm pretty positive about it.
Yeah, I love this hire for the Ravens. I think he's as close to Mike McDonald as you can get without it actually being Mike McDonald. Just kind of feels like a natural fit in Baltimore. And I think that, I mean, there's nothing wrong with hiring a defensive coach. I mean, he's a good coach. He was probably, like before everybody got fired, he was probably the most sought after candidate in this whole cycle. So yeah, I think this is a good hire for the Ravens. Just I think he's another one of those kind of stable guys that you can have there for uh, you know 10, 20 years, and I think it's going to be a really smooth transition. From Harbaugh to Jesse Minter.
Yeah, I love this hire for Baltimore. I think a lot of people are down on it because it's not an offensive coach. It's not a guy who's necessarily going to gel with Lamar that well. But just fact of the matter, the Ravens' offense was not the reason why they missed the playoffs last year. They had a top 10 offense, even despite the fact that Lamar missed a lot of games. As a matter of fact, their defense was closer to bottom half of the league. And that's why you miss the playoffs at the end of the day. I think Minter is a guy who, like, when you have a quarterback as good as Lamar, you don't need an offensive mastermind to have a good offense. That's just how I feel. I think you have Lamar Jackson and 31 other teams don't, and you need to say, okay, now we need to stop other teams from scoring. And I think Lamar, no matter what OC you give him, when you have Derrick Henry, no matter give, uh, they're going to be good and they're going to be effective and they're going to score points. I think for Baltimore, you needed a guy who gave you an advantage on the defensive side of the ball that you were lacking. Jesse Minter's that guy for me. And I really feel confident that Jesse Minter is going to be able to right the ship defensively in Baltimore. And, I mean, I don't know much about him personally. I will say I don't know much about like, hey, what kind of person is Jesse Minter? What kind of, you know, like who is he? Is he a motivator? Is he more like a Mike McDonald type, like personality wise, where he's like quiet, kind of shy, and going to bury himself and scheme and just make an incredible game plan every week? I'm not sure. So I don't know really like what the culture change is going to be like in Baltimore, but that organization is so stable that I kind of trust whatever hire they make. That's just my aspect on it. Like the Ravens organization is a top 10 organization, and they made a hire that I think is positive. And I trust them, and I trust Jesse Minter, and I trust their thought process here. And at the end of the day, I think Minter is a great hire. I mean, best case scenario, this is McDonald. Like that's best case. I think if he works out, you have a Mike McDonald allegory and you have Lamar Jackson. It's kind of like that simple. So that's my take on it. There was a more head coaching hires. There is some head coaching buzz going around. Obviously, Sean McDermott got fired. I think that there's been some movement with the Browns job, I believe. They're bringing in, they had their second interview with Jim Schwartz. They're bringing in Grant Udinski for a second interview. And from what I hear, he feels like a strong candidate for that job. Aaron, do you have any thoughts on the Browns and, kind of where they're at? Because the other job openings here, Pittsburgh, not been much talk about Pittsburgh. I think like the Bills are still very early in their process. And then the Raiders and Cardinals are also kind of still, I feel like both of those teams are waiting for Kubiak. Like that's my understanding of that. I think both of those teams are waiting for Seattle to be out so they can hire Clint Kubiak. So that's just my look on it. But what stands with the Browns, because it does feel like they are likely the next domino to fall here.
With the Browns, I mean, I think the vibe that I'm definitely getting from them is they're going to go unique. I would honestly be surprised at this point if they hire Jim Schwartz, just because the other two candidates they have are Grant Udinski and Nate Scheelhaas. Right, that's what at least I've seen. So I think they're gonna.
I just want to chime in and say, like, there was a report that came out that they wanted to interview Chris Shula and he declined, which is not a good outlook on your organization, I will say. It makes me wonder if Chris Shula will even get hired, because I don't know how many other places he could go. He could be a Pittsburgh guy. That's what I'll say about Chris Shula. He fits the Pittsburgh mold of young defensive coach. But I'm sorry, you can go ahead.
But so I think they're trying to go for someone that will get the fans at least engaged, get them a little bit. I think, if they want that, they got to go with a Udinski or a Scheelhaas. Those are kind of the candidates they have left, from at least what I've seen. So I think that that's kind of their outlook and who they're going to go for.
I think I agree. I think that's going to be Udinski. That's my hunch. Scheelhaas feels like I don't know how to say it. It feels like a like an OC type thing, like this kind of the same feel I get with Davis Webb. Like they are interviewing him to get a look at him to see if he'll be a good OC. My hunch though is that if Shula gets hired anywhere, I think Scheelhaas follows to be the OC. That's my guess. But we'll find out because I'm not sure. So let's move on to some of these assistant hirings. We had a couple. The big one I think that everybody's talking about, Mike McDaniel to the Chargers. He, the former Dolphins coach, Patriots OC, I think was the easily most sought after OC candidate this cycle. He is heading to LA to be the OC for Justin Herbert and that offense. So Aaron, I mean, what are your thoughts on this for LA, and I mean, how much better do you think this makes them after last year with their offensive struggles?
I think this is the best hire they could have gotten on this. I mean, obviously, I mean, he was the most sought after coordinator in this whole, cycle. Um, so I think this is a perfect hire for them. They really just need someone that can, call that offense, who can, work their magic on the offense, especially after being just really not great like last year or even the past like 2 years, if even. Um, so I think that he can definitely help them, kind of get over this hump that they've, been kind of stuck at in the playoffs or, like in the regular season where it kind of just feels like they go like 10-7 every year and then lose in like the wild card or the divisional. So I think it can help with, like getting over that, that spot.
I mean, my take is that Justin Herbert has no more excuses.
Yeah.
I mean, like the O line might not be good still, but they will be getting Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater back. And, I think that plays a big portion into how good this O line is going to be. And then, like, hey, last couple of years you had Greg Roman. Maybe you could have argued, okay, Greg Roman was a bad day. He's been fired multiple times. And, like now this is like that was the problem. But now you maybe have the best offensive coordinator like in the sport. Like he's there with like, I mean, who would you say is the best OC? Not like not counting offensive playing head coaches. Like, who do you think is the best OC in the league? Like Clint Kubiak is in there. Like Josh McDaniels has been pretty good, I think. Brady is a pretty great OC, I think. I mean, I don't know. He instantly becomes like the upper echelon of offensive coordinators in the NFL, if not the best. So
Yeah.
there's no more excuses for Justin Herbert. Like, hey, it's time to do it, or like Bo Nix has already jumped you. Like it kind of felt like, okay, Justin Herbert was next in line behind Mahomes, and once the Chiefs fall, the Chargers are going to step in. Now you're behind the Broncos. And then next year, the Chiefs are going to be better. I just have to assume. You're going to run out of chances. Like, I think I need to see it from Justin Herbert. Like, I need to see that elite season. Like, that truly, man, he is tearing them up this year. I think Mike McDaniel brings that OC, that quarterback-friendly offense that I think if Justin Herbert doesn't flourish in this, like, there's time to start having serious questions. So that's my take about that. Zach Robinson to the Bucs was another hire that was made. This is Eric Lewis. He did not like Zach Robinson as OC, and he goes to the division rival Buccaneers. My take with Zach Robinson, I think Zach Robinson had he's kind of in that Saleh boat for me, where it's like I feel like he had just too good of the resume, too good of the like you're just looking at this guy on paper. He feels like an ideal offensive coordinator. And he's still young. I trust that he'll be good. We'll have to see if he takes that step. Is he just going to run a bunch of pistol with Baker, or was he like limited by Penix and Kirk, and now he's going to kind of open up the playbook? Who knows? Do you have any? I mean, I know you have a take on Zach Robinson to the Bucs.
I mean, I'm happy they hired him because he sucks. So I hope that that'll kind of make their offense worse. So, yeah.
Right. Fair. That's it. We have to move on. But for the last non-conference championship topic here, this Bills press conference was nuts. I know we're a little late, but we can still discuss it. This press conference single-handedly made this Buffalo Bills job less desirable. Like, you still want it because you got Josh Allen, right? But now you have this owner who's throwing the last head coach under the bus after bringing in after fielding one of the best teams in football over the past decade. And yes, I know that, hey, they did not make the Super Bowl. They couldn't get over that playoff hump. But regardless, the results are there. The Bills I remember when before Sean McDermott, the Bills had not made the playoffs in 20 years.
Yeah.
And then they bring in Sean McDermott, and then they get over this hump. And he got over that hump before Josh Allen got there. So this is not like, oh, well, Josh Allen got them over the hump. Josh Allen certainly helped them be the team that they are now, but Sean McDermott made the playoffs without Josh Allen. To throw him under the bus like this felt extremely petty to me and extremely shitty. Sean McDermott was not the enemy here. He's not some sort of like dark figure for the Bills where it's like, oh, we would have won if not for Sean McDermott. I think Sean McDermott is still regarded as a great coach, and he did a lot of really good things for Buffalo. I just feel really bad for him that it ended with him getting thrown under the bus like this, getting disrespected, having the owner flat out lie, like the whole Keon Coleman thing where they're shitting on Keon Coleman in the press conference. He's still on the team. He is still on the roster, and they're just shitting all over Coleman, trying to disperse the blame of, hey, who picked this guy? And then they lie about, hey, that was the head coach, the head coaching staff really like Keon Coleman. General manager Brandon Beane over here, who I just promoted, he did not like Keon Coleman. And then immediately they dig up receipts from the draft documentary that the Bills made, where after Keon Coleman ran a bad 40 time, Brandon Beane is sitting up in the box saying, it'll make him easy. That'll make him easier to get for us. Like, this really feels very bad. I mean, Aaron, like, I think when Sean McDermott got fired, we all were like, this is a 10. This is a 10 head coach opening. Have Allen, you have this team. But now you feel like, okay, well, when you really look at it, the owner seems to suck. The general manager seemed to have no support for the head coach. There was that report that came out that Sean McDermott was like, hey, this roster isn't good enough. And they both got mad at him for saying his opinion. Like, if this job was a proverbial 10 of a head coach opening, where is it now for you?
I think it's at like a 7 or an 8 because, like, I feel like, like, no matter what now, the owner isn't going to be happy. Like, and I think the whole of like, he's like super outspoken is just like, it's just not very attractive to a coach. Like, I want some kind of support and some kind of, thing to lean on if things aren't going wrong. And like that the owner or the GM isn't going to be that. So I think that's a huge issue for a lot of coaches, and it hurts the Bills, job opening by a good amount.
Yeah, I'm just highly skeptical of how much I would want this job, especially if I'm a new coach. If I am a new head coach, if I'm a first-time head coach, I do not want this job. I just don't. It just feels like a job that you will get no chance to develop, and if you're bad, you are the villain. Like, you get 2 years with this job. You get 2 to 3 years. If you're not good, you're done. Like, that's just it. And if I'm a first-time head coach, I would much rather have the Raiders job or maybe not the Cardinals or the Browns jobs, just because that's so, like, those jobs are so bad and they're an organization, they're really bad. No real future. But like why would I want to take a job where I know for sure I won't have the chance to grow into like who I who I could be as a coach? Like, I don't understand why you would want a job like that. I don't understand why you would want to, even entertain a job like that. So that's the real problem for me. I think this Bills press conference really makes it look bad. And now they're bringing in Philip Rivers for a head coaching visit. They had Philip Rivers in today. So we'll see where that goes. I'm sure it's just like, hey, I just want to feel the waters here. We didn't make an official guess on who we think the Bills coach is going to be. Do we have a guess by now?
I don't know. I think it's still going to be Joe Brady, but that's just like such like an estimate. Like, I have no idea who they really want.
You want me to be honest?
But
I think they're going to hire Daboll. I think they're going to hire Brian Daboll. In which case, like, what a blunder, in my opinion. Like, what an absolute blunder. If you go from Sean McDermott to Brian Dable and you're going to try to sell me on Brian Dable's the guy that's going to win us the Super Bowl, you can't sell me on that.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes. But man, I feel really down about the Bills now, where a few days ago I was like, man, this job is gold. Now it feels like, God, it's like if you're a new coach, you're going to go here to die. And you are going to be looked at at an owner by who said he made a firing decision based off one game. I just don't know. I don't know. It feels really bad to me. We'll move on to the conference championship games. 2 games this weekend, and whoever wins both going to go to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, this is as big as the stakes get outside of the Super Bowl. And I mean, in one game, we have a very complicated outlook. And in the other game, we have potentially game of the year part 3. Like, that is the narrative around both these games. We'll break down them in chronological order. Are you okay? Aaron is having trouble getting into position here he has a very specific spot that he has to hit. And if he doesn't get there, he just can't think right. Broncos Patriots, man. Lots to talk about in this game. Obviously, the big thing, Jarrett Stidham is starting for the Broncos. That's the biggest thing that you have to mention. It's the one thing that you have to absolutely bring up if you're trying to summarize this game and try to get a quick outlook. But I think a lot of people have jumped to the conclusion that, okay, because Jarrett Stidham is starting, the Patriots are going to walk through this game. I don't feel that way. And we will each be making picks. I will be abstaining from the Seahawks game because I will either jinx it or not, or reverse jinx it. And I can't do that. So, Aaron, let's talk about Broncos Patriots. This is a game where the Patriots are favored pretty strongly by NFL fans. I think they do not trust Jarrett Stidham, which is fair. He's only thrown like 2 passes in the last like 3 years or something like that. Like he is a relative unknown as far as, okay, what is this guy going to do when he starts? When he gets his chance, how is he going to play? I just don't think either of us or nobody really knows outside of like Sean Payton. That being said, are we so sure that Jarrett Stidham is going to be this problem for the Broncos? Like, are we so sure that the Broncos won't say, hey, guess what? We have a top 5 offensive line in football. We have a top 5 defense in football. We are going to lean on the run game, make things very easy for Jarrett Stidham, and trust our defense to make plays. When you put it like that, and when you put it in the frame of this is the Broncos, it doesn't sound that unreasonable to think that the Broncos will at least put up a very good, if not win this game. So where are you falling? I mean, don't just talk about the Broncos here. Talk about everything. Where do you think this game falls for you as far as like the matchup and the key game for both?
I mean, obviously for, the Broncos, it's going to be, you just got to hope your defense does what it's been doing all year. And, Stidham can do just enough to win this game for you. And I think I kind of said a similar thing last week with Bo Nix even, where you just got to kind of hope that he's good enough to win this game for you. And I think it's very possible, especially for the Broncos in this game, where you're like you said, your defense is just so good. Like you never know what's going to happen, even if you have, a backup quarterback in. So, key to the game for the Broncos is just defense, 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 and then for the Patriots, specifically kind of Drake May. It's Drake May. You have to play better against really good defenses. I know they're really good defenses, but you are considered a top 5 quarterback now. You got to start playing good against these guys because against the Texans last week didn't look good, and when you have Nick Bonito on Will Campbell, you better not fumble the ball again because that might not, that's not even the game. Fumbling is not even a game. So I think for the Patriots, it's Drake May play good and take care of the ball, and if we score 10 points, that might be enough to win us this game because our defense is also good and they have a backup quarterback. Um, so yeah, I think that's kind of the key to both of these teams for this game.
The Broncos do a lot of things very, very well. And that's what makes it feel like for me that I just, okay, like if I'm trying to imagine a world where the Broncos win this game, I close my eyes and I'm imagining the AFC Championship game just ended 5 minutes ago. And I'm trying to recap the game. I say, well, the Broncos ran the ball well. Jarrett Stidham made the necessary plays. He did not turn the ball over, got the ball out quick. He got a blocking factor for them and playing good offense. And Denver got 2 or 3 turnovers on defense. And that swayed the game. That's the world in which I imagine that the Broncos win. When you look at what Jarrett Stidham is operating in, he is operating behind one of the best offensive lines in football, and he's operating with Sean Payton at the helm. And I really trust Sean Payton to scheme up a good, healthy, friendly game plan for Jarrett Stidham and to just make the necessary plays and get the ball out quickly. The real question for me is how will the Broncos look when they have to stretch the ball downfield? If we saw with New England last week, New England got able to push Houston into these 3rd and long situations, and CJ Stroud was just not able to push the ball downfield. Now, Bo Nix has been very good at pushing the ball downfield. He is hurt. So that being said, we're now looking at a world where Jarrett Stidham is going to have to make those plays. I don't know how well he will be able to. It's just not, I don't know. I think you made a good point with Will Campbell versus Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper. Like, these are very different defensive linemen from from Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. Like, these are very different defensive linemen. Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter are so long that like their hands are at their knees and they are just able to use their length and size and strength to really bully you. This week, it's Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper who are going to like line up way wide and just dust you off the edge. So like that is left to be seen how well Will Campbell will handle that. How well Will Campbell will handle that. And then, it's like, I think for me, another big thing for this is Vance Joseph versus Josh McDaniels. 2 veteran play calling coaches who are coordinating for the offense and the defense. How are they going to match up against each other? Who is going to out scheme the other? And, it's like, this is a really tough game for me to pick because I keep going back and just saying the Broncos have the better team and they have the better coaches and they have almost everything is better on this Broncos team besides the quarterback. So with that being said, let's make some picks. Aaron, make a pick for this game, and I want you to, broadly outline, like I did a second ago, in your mind when you make this pick. Try to summarize the game 5 minutes after watching it. What do you think happens?
I think my prediction. I don't think it's going to be like a blowout that people are talking like, oh, the Patriots are going to win 35-0. I do think the Patriots are going to win. I think Jarrett Stidham is going to be a little bit too much of a problem on offense to win this game. I don't think it's going to be like bad, but I could see him going for like 10 of 20, like 120 yards, maybe a touchdown and like 2 picks. I think that's going to be like his like exact stat line. So I think Jarrett Stidham be a little bit too much to like just overcome. And I think if I were to be 5 minutes, be sitting there 5 minutes after the game, I said, oh, man, Drake May is still having trouble against good defenses. Like, I don't really think it's going to change, especially against the Broncos, who have the best defense in the league, in my opinion. Um, I think Drake May is still going to have trouble. I think he will fumble once or twice in this game. But I think the Patriots are going to win this game like 13-7, maybe.
Wow.
Like,
Low
going to
score.
be pretty rough to watch.
If I'm sitting after this game, I I think the Broncos are going to win this game. I've gone back and forth on this a lot. I've thought about it a lot. And the Patriots are just a little inexperienced. They are a little and they have not played their best football in the playoffs. And I just can't shake this feeling that this is a team that overperformed in the regular season and they're winning, but they're not winning in the way that you would want a 14-3 team to win. They're not winning in a game that they're not winning in the style of, hey, this guy they have an MVP candidate on their roster starting at quarterback. Like this is just they're just not playing that way. And I just think Sean Payton is offers a schematic advantage that they have not seen on offense. They have played two middling offenses, especially with bad offensive lines. And the Broncos have a great offensive line and they have a good offense and they have a couple running backs that could gash you. And they have Jarrett Stidham, who Bo Nix was, I think a lot of people are overestimating. Bo Nix has never been asked to do that much in a game. Like he's never been asked to do a lot as the quarterback of the Broncos. I don't think that's going to change with Jarrett Stidham. And if I'm recapping this game, I'm saying, well, the Broncos offense, they didn't play great, but those two drives where they got those fumbles or those picks and they started at the New England 40, Sean Payton just got them in the end zone and they did enough. And ultimately, the Patriots had a great year, but the moment was just a little too big for them. So, with that being said, I will pick the Broncos 24-20. I think they do just enough. And I think Sean Payton has a who's going to fuck with me now type game where it's like, man, how did they get that done? So yeah, I think the Broncos, I just like this team. And I think that this is a team that does not need a quarterback to win. You know what? Remember how last week I was saying, do the Seahawks, like if Drew Lock starts for the Seahawks, are we really positive that they can't win? Because what they do is not based around quarterback success. It's around running the ball well and making easy throws and stopping the other side on defense. Like that's exactly what the Broncos do. And I will tell you right now, I trust Jarrett Stidham more than I trust Drew Lock. So that's where I'm at. I think the Broncos are going to win. We'll move on to the next game here. Like I said, I will not make a pick for this game as I am a Seahawks fan. So I feel like, guys, I'm too biased to make a fair call in this game. But man, oh man, like this is the heavyweight bout. This is like Muhammad Ali and George Foreman fighting for a third time in like the span of 9 months. And it's like, oh my God, they're fighting again. And each fight goes like 10 rounds. Each side is bruised and battered and messed up. And the Seahawks and Rams are the two best teams in football, in my opinion. Especially now that Jarrett Stidham's hurt. Like I would honestly still put the Seahawks and Rams above the Broncos, even when the Broncos had Bo Nix. But now I think that like that has only been cemented that the Seahawks and Rams just feel like the clear two best teams in football. I mean, Aaron, just give your thoughts on this game. Like give the similar thing the last time, keys and how you think this game is going to go for both teams.
This is going to be a great game. I think I should just preface that. And I think in this game, Seahawks have the better defense, Rams have the better offense. So I think they're really just going to balance each other out. And this game is just going to be nonstop, just like wow moments. Like this is gonna be a great game. Um, but I think key for Seattle, start hot again. You saw what starting hot does for you last week. And I'm not saying you get a opening kick return touchdown, but I'm just saying, score on your first drive or just score early, and you saw what that could do last week against the 49ers. So I think that a big part of the Seahawks game plan is just going to be let's start hot and uh, defense. I feel like I'm bringing up defense every game because every defense in this playoff is just so good. But like defense, do your thing. Um, you have Mike McDonald, who's probably at least a top three defensive mind in the game, if not the best.
In my opinion, I know I might be a little biased. I think he's the best defensive coach in the sport, and it's not close at this point.
And they've played the Rams 2 times already this year. He knows, I think, at least a little bit of what they're going to see. He knows how to scheme against it now, which I think is going to play a huge part. But at the same time, on the other sideline, you have one of the best offensive minds ever in Sean McVay. So they really just balance her out. Rams, I think, Stafford and Puka. It's just what you got to do. Do you think Witherspoon's going to be on Puka?
The Seahawks don't shade. I mean, they don't shadow. They don't. This Mike McDonald is famous for running. Hey, I'm gonna run nickel zone every single play, and we're just gonna be so good at it with the right personnel that you can pretty much run anything and you won't beat us. So like that's his mindset.
Yeah.
So he won't
Um,
shade or do anything like that, but it all depends where Puka lines up, and that's part of the chess match. Like, how is McVay gonna line up Puka, Devontae Adams, these guys to scheme them open rather than like say like, hey, it's just one-on-one Puka Witherspoon. Like if the Rams play the Broncos in the Super Bowl, it's gonna be okay. Pat Surtain's gonna be on Puka every play, but for the Seahawks, it's a little different. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
um, yeah, but I think that the Seahawks kind of learned how to play their offense a little better last time. Even though they lost, they didn't score a lot, and this is a very high power Rams offense with the I think almost guaranteed MVP winner in Matt Stafford.
Feels like it at
Um,
this point.
so I think that you just gotta obviously just do everything you can to win this game. I know it kind of sounds simple, but for the Rams, this is the best team you're gonna face. You've already faced them twice, beat them once, so this game is just gonna be amazing. But I think at the end of the day, I think the Seahawks are gonna win. Um,
Score.
this game's gonna be great. I think this game is gonna be 28-24.
I think it's hard to do this game justice. Like, is setting it up right. I mean, it's the best offense versus the best defense. It's the best defensive coach versus the best offensive coach. It's the two best wide receivers in football going up against each other. And there are so many storylines. Like these two teams already played the game of the year like 4 weeks ago. And it's just so unreal to see like the through line of this rivalry and what it's been this year and now how it's reached this moment. And then and not even to talk about, hey, Sam Darnold got embarrassed and lost millions of dollars against the Rams in the playoffs last year. Like that is all of the storylines that are happening in this game. In my mind, I think the absolute key for the Seahawks is to it's almost not even worth talking about McDonald versus McVay. Like, because they are just I was listening to a podcast earlier and they were talking about, I'm not going to repeat everything they said, but they were talking about the ins and outs of the scheme that McDonald and McVay are going to have to run up against each other. And hey, McVay runs 13 personnel, but then McDonald's going to run nickel, and he has Nick Eamon to balance out the nickel, but then he's going to run this, but then the Seahawks are going to backtrack with this, and the Seahawks are going to stop the run here, and then the Rams are going to do a play action. Like they are going to counteract each other, and that is going to be an absolute heavyweight bout. And like at that point, it's down to this Seahawks offense versus the Rams defense. That's what the game's going to come down to. I think, therefore, the key for Seattle is you got to settle Sam Darnold in on that first drive or that second drive. Sometime in the first quarter, you need a drive where Sam Darnold is able to get into a rhythm where you're able to run the football with effectively and consistently. And Sam Darnold is able to feel his way through and slowly kind of get going. I think a lot of people forget, hey, yes, the Rams have had the Seahawks number on defense, but in that last like quarter and overtime in the last game that the Seahawks played, Clint Kubiak like seemingly figured something out, and the Seahawks offense was just kind of moving the ball at their own will. Like they were just going up back and forth down the field. So like this is about Chris Shula versus Clint Kubiak. These are two coordinators who could get head coaching jobs. And these are Sam Darnold trying to get settled in. Can you get him in a rhythm? Can you stop him from turning the ball over? Can you make him comfortable? If the Seahawks don't turn the ball over in this game, it's hard for me to see a world where they lose. That's just me being honest. The Seahawks have played the Rams twice this year. They have a -6 turnover differential, -6, and they are total throughout the entire season series have a -1 point differential. If you don't turn the ball over, it's really hard for me to see how this Seahawks team loses. For the Rams, therefore, the key is to, make Sam Darnold uncomfortable, turn the ball over, trick him. He can get a little gunslinger. Can you show him a look that he thinks he likes, and then, it's picked off? That's how the Rams win this game. It's as simple as that. Like, hey, if Sam Darnold can get comfortable, get in a rhythm, not turn the ball over, I think the Seahawks win. If Sam Darnold starts to get turnover happy, he's clearly rattled, he's under pressure consistently, I think the Rams win. It's just that simple for me. Like I said, I won't make a pick, but this is going to be an unbelievable game. It doesn't seem like there are going to be injury factors for either of these teams. Sam Darnold seemingly is good to go. Charles Cross is good to go. I know
I just came off the injury report actually just now, so.
Oh, nice. And I think Byron Young for the Rams is questionable, but I think he's going to play. So I think that's like the only significant player that might not be able to go, but I think he's going to play anyways. What a game. What an unbelievable game. So with that being said, it's Aaron has the Patriots and the Seahawks in the Super Bowl 49 rematch. And I have the Broncos versus the winner of Seahawks Rams. I will not make a pick. I'm on my Kirk Herbstreit type shit here, where I'm not picking a game because I feel like I have a role in it. So yeah, I mean, what an unreal slate that we have here this weekend, and what an unreal setup that we are about to see. So I'm really excited. Can't wait to get into it. We are about to wrap up, but before we go, Aaron is blowing his hair out his face. He got the emo thing going. It's a lot. We have fun here on the podcast. All right, we have fun. We have a lot of fun. We party. We get a little crazy. We get a little spooky. Aaron, do your trick. Do your camera trick. Do your camera trick. Yeah, do that. Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. Say anything. Say anything.
Welcome to the Passable Knowledge Podcast.
Yeah, Dolly Zoom. We
live.
have fun. See, guys, we have fun. We have a good time here. So subscribe. Before we go, Aaron, today is January 23rd. What today in history, man? Come on, let me know. I gotta know. I'm dying to know. What happened today in history?
About this a lot today. Not much happened, but like the frisbee was like the first frisbees were produced today. Madeleine Albright became the first female Secretary of State.
Well, that's pretty cool.
And that's about it. Not much happened today.
All
Who do you have?
right. For me, man, there's so many. Now I'm doing this new thing where I'm only shouting out one person. I feel like that deserves it. Just to give you a quick list of ideas, though. XXX Tentacion's birthday is today. Vsauce, it's Vsauce's birthday. Not many birthdays today either. I don't really know what's going on. It's Richard Dean Anderson's birthday today. But it's John Hancock's birthday today as well. But I think it's worth noting that there is one person who deserves a very happy birthday. Happy birthday to Sully Sullenberger,
Ooh,
who landed the plane. Oh my God, he looks so horrifying in this. Happy birthday to Sully. He landed the plane on the Hudson. Has a movie about him. Everybody wish him a happy birthday because he deserves it. So happy birthday, Sully. Okay, all right, ready, Aaron? Aaron, ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Sully. You are so far behind. Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, that's it. Aaron's dark again. That's it. Aaron, any final thoughts before you send everybody off?
I'm gonna take a nap.
Aaron's gonna take a nap. And by the way, everybody stay safe because it seems like the entire nation is going to be engulfed in ice this weekend. So
Yeah,
stay safe if you want to stay safe. And if you're looking for something to do while you're in your house because of ice,
watch the Passable Knowledge podcast.
watch our podcast. Oh, Aaron looks like a different person. All right, that's it. We're not going to waste your time any longer. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, comment if you enjoyed. We will see you guys in the next episode for a conference championship recap. Aaron, say goodbye.
Bye.